Lizzie had been married for 15 years. She was now 40 years old. Her husband Samuel was a good man, but his family and the village people, not so kind. She had no children, no pregnancy, not even a miscarriage. Every year that passed, the whispers got louder. They called our names behind our back. A tree with no fruit, a man in woman's body, wife of sorrow. Sometimes they didn't whisper. They said it to her face. At weddings, women moved away from her. At naming ceremonies, she was ignored. During village meetings, she sat quietly because women with no children had no voice. One day at a funeral, a woman looked at Lizzie and said, "You came empty, you will leave empty." That night, Lizzie didn't eat. She sat outside under the mango tree and cried. Her husband came to her. "Don't listen to them," he whispered. "You are still my wife, and I still love you." She wanted to believe him, but the silence in front of his mother said something else. One Saturday, his family called a meeting. Lizzie came with her wrapper tied tight and her head low. Samuel's mother sat at the center. She cleared her throat and said, 15 years. No child. What are we waiting for? We need children to carry the family name. Another aunt added, She has tried. Let her rest. Let Samuel marry another woman. Lizzie sat still. Her heart was shaking, her eyes wet, but she refused to let a tear fall. She turned to her husband. Say something, she whispered, but he looked down at his hands, and that silence was louder than all the insults. That night, Lizzie packed a small bag. She told Samuel, If you want children more than you want me, I will go. He didn't stop her. He just sat quietly, as if afraid of choosing. And so she walked away, barefoot, heartbroken, ashamed. The next day, the village was full of gossip. She has finally left. Maybe now we will hear baby cries. Good riddance. No one knew that inside, Lizzie was carrying more pain than words could explain. She went to stay with her cousin in the city. It was loud, busy, different. But for the first time, no one asked her, Where is your child? She got a small job at a hospital as a cleaner. She watched babies cry, mothers smile, and nurses carry newborns. At first, it broke her heart. Then, one day, a nurse said, You are so gentle with the babies. You should volunteer in the children's ward. And she did. And that's when something changed. Lizzie started spending time with children who had no mothers, orphans, abandoned babies, sick children. She fed them, sang to them, held them when they cried. One little girl, Amaka, always clung to her skirt. She had been abandoned at birth. No one ever came for her. One day, Amaka looked at Lizzie and said, Mommy, are you coming tomorrow? Lizzie froze. No one had ever called her mommy before. She smiled, and for the first time in years, she meant it. A year later, Lizzie adopted Amaka. She wasn't rich. She didn't have a big house, but she had love, and Amaka needed that more than anything. They moved into a small room together. Lizzie still worked at the hospital, but every evening she cooked for two, laughed, read bedtime stories. She wasn't just a woman anymore, she was a mother. 5 years passed. One day, she returned to the village with Amaka, now 7 years old. People stared, some whispered, others smiled awkwardly. Her husband had remarried and still had no children. His mother looked older, quieter, regret in her eyes. When Lizzie passed with Amaka holding her hand, a woman whispered, She came back full. And Lizzie smiled. Lizzie no longer cared what people said because she had learned something powerful. A child doesn't have to come from your womb to come from your heart. She may never carry life in her belly, but she carried love in her arms. And that was enough. To every woman who waits, who cries in silence, who feels empty, you are not alone. you are not less, you are still whole. And one day, through birth, adoption,